Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Tell me how to pronounce your name, please.
My first name is pronounced Jens Martin.
Jens Martin. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And the
Very good.
surname, you need that?
Oh no, no. I wanted to make sure that I was saying um, so there's a couple of things that I want to get started because the VIP videos will be getting posted on YouTube soon. I already did 7 or 8 of them last week. So I want to tell you a couple things. There's number one, uh, there's a word that I wrote down in this envelope. It's an everyday word. If you happen to say it while we're doing our Zoom, then you'll win a highly collectible Beach Boys item, like a one of a, very rare thing. And I'll try to remember to show you the word at the end if you don't say it. And then the other thing is, I've been able to have a special surprise guest join all of the Zooms to this point. So that's something I try to do for all the different VIP members as a part of the VIP experience. And so hopefully today we'll be joined by a special surprise guest. So you never know who will show up. So we'll see how that goes. Did you have a chance to look at the bonus PDF that I sent you?
I did. Yeah,
And what did you think about that? Did you like that? Was that good?
I did. Especially the Bruce Johnston interview.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I definitely liked it. Yeah.
Okay, very good. So there's a couple of VIP members who are just brand new subscribers, so they don't even have an issue yet, but you've been a subscriber for a little while. So you do have this one, right?
This one.
Yes, yeah, that one, the
Yeah.
summer and the fall from
Also that one. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So those two with this new PDF content that I sent you is kind of like a three-part uh, storyline on the Beach Boys, from '83 through '85. Yeah, and I was just curious because I love finding out what fans enjoy about a period piece, even if it's not something that's their favorite album per se, but just something that they enjoyed finding out that maybe they didn't know before, even if they knew it, that they enjoyed finding, out about a certain era or a certain song or something. From these recent issues, what did you learn that, surprised you that you enjoyed?
Yeah, but it's a good example because the Beach Boys album from 1985 may not be my favorite album. So beforehand, I didn't know that much about the album, which means that yeah, exactly. Which means that I learned a lot from the issue 142, I think it is.
Okay, the summer one was Steve Levine, you mean?
Pardon?
The Steve Levine, the summer one, this one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a bumper sticker.
It is.
Yeah. Which it's funny, I don't remember where I got that poster and I don't remember where I got this bumper sticker, but I've had them as long as I can remember, but I don't remember where I got them.
But this is, I reckon this is your favorite album, more or less, isn't it?
Well, it's, I don't know how old you are. I'm 58. So I got to kind of grow up with the Beach Boy. I was I guess I would be considered a second generation fan. I suppose you are too.
Yeah.
And so you and I, like many, got the privilege of being able to grow up with them. And so
Mhm.
when an album would come out, we did have the opportunity to actually, as opposed to using Amazon or something, we actually had to get in our car or get on our bicycle and go to our favorite record store. And the excitement or knowing that a new Beach Boys album was coming out was always interesting to me. It didn't matter if it was a compilation. It didn't matter if in 1996, I read about Stars and Stripes Project. It was not exciting to me, but I was still I still wanted to go and buy it when it came out, to go to the store to buy the Beach Boys album. And the same is true with the Summer in Paradise album. In 1992, I was down at the beach. It was June of 92. I remember I was at the beach and I didn't have my own transportation, so I had to bother my older brother to drive me to the record store so that I could go and get the cassette of Summer in Paradise so I could listen to it. So I never had any predisposed ideas about what something was until I actually bought it and listened.
Mm.
And I had just gotten out of high school and gone to, actually, there's the piece of paper in the frame there. I went to broadcast school and had a radio job. So I went right into radio. I didn't go to a four-year college. I went to the broadcast school instead, and then I went right into radio. And that happened right when the 85 album came out. So I was driving from radio job to radio job a lot. And that was the cassette. The 85 album was the cassette that I had in my car. And I did listen to the radio back then because a lot of acts in the 80s, I never liked listening to the radio because of all the commercials. It's funny because I worked in radio, so I didn't like radio because of all the commercials. But I really enjoyed just listening to all the music coming out in the 80s. It was a really unique time because, you know, dating back to, I guess, 1983, I believe, when Michael Jackson came out with the Thriller video, and what a significant event that was, because it was like a 15-minute video and they broadcasted it on, I think it came out on Halloween on MTV, and that was just a big event. So all the music videos were a big component to anything that was happening musically as well. And you really wanted your music on a soundtrack. And that, of course, for the Beach Boys, that turned out great in '88 when they had, you know, Kokomo on the Cocktail soundtrack.
Yeah.
But so much interesting music was coming out of the 80s. And nostalgia, the 60s groups were making a comeback. The Moody Blues had the Other Side of Life album, which became quite a hit for them with Your Wildest Dreams. The Beach Boys came out with this 85 album, and then in 86, as you know, they had Rock and Roll to the Rescue and California Dreamin'. And that, with the music videos, you know, became quite successful for them. So yeah, for me, this was never, the 85 album was never an album that I thought of as being better than anything else. I just enjoyed it and liked it for what it was. It was the first time that I felt Brian's presence on an album in a while, because Keeping the Summer Alive, although he was on some of the recordings, it felt more like a Carl album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And 78's MIU album, I don't think I bought MIU when it first came out, but the MIU album sounded to me like, it just sounded different. It didn't really, they all sound like Beach Boys albums, but it just didn't, the MIU, LA Light and Keeping the Summer Alive, well, MIU and LA were Beach Boys albums. I liked the music. I didn't care for the disco Here Comes the Night. And I didn't care for Brian's Shortening Bread. That just felt like something they stuffed on the LA album. Mm-hmm. And so they always sounded like the Beach Boys. Keeping the Summer Alive kind of started to lean back towards that imagery that they became popular for when they first started out. But the 85 album for me kind of just crystallized, you know, Dennis was gone, and that was kind of heartbreaking and sad. But to hear that opening note, that opening drum beat that almost sounded like Don't Worry Baby, when Get Your Back starts, it almost sounds like a nod to Don't Worry Baby, and it reminded me that. And you have Brian's soaring falsetto, and exactly. that was what kind of got me. And it was a summer album. That too came out in June, so it was. And then they had Ringo Starr as a guest star. You know, it was just Stevie Wonder. You know, it was just very. It was very much an '80s album.
Yeah.
And I had, you know, back then, you and I, we didn't have Google. We couldn't just look stuff up to know who anybody was. So I didn't realize that Steve Levine, I made no connection with Steve Levine and Culture Club, but I liked Culture Club. I mean, I liked listening to their music on the radio. So I didn't know any better when I bought the 85 album. but I just loved it. I just loved it. I loved Carl's vocals. I loved the songwriting. I liked Bruce's "She Believes in Love Again." I missed Dennis's presence naturally, but I also missed Dennis's presence on "Keeping the Summer Alive" because he wasn't there. I think he played drums on one track maybe.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe. Yeah.
so that, yeah, for me, the '85 album, for me, I was 21. No, I was 20. I was born in '65, so I was 20 when the album came out.
Yeah.
And it was just the perfect, like, adult contemporary, guy being 20. It just all the songs fit what I was kind of going through in life, and I love the nostalgic get you back and and I like the videos. The videos were very cheesy, but I liked how they were geared towards recapturing young love, rekindling an old romance, and that type of thing. So yeah. So I don't think it's better than Pet Sounds. I don't think it's better than Smiley Smile or anything like that. I think the Smile music is as good as it gets to this day. If anybody were to say, my favorite song is Cabanescence. So, yeah, I've never thought of the '85 album as being better than something, but I really do like it as an album.
Yeah, I got a soft spot for the Summer in Paradise album,
Really,
the European version, which I think is an improvement of the original album.
Island Fever in particular.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, and also the Summer in Paradise song, I think.
I'm going to try to show you if I can turn this. See that poster right there?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so I love that artwork. I love that artwork. And I agree, I've got both versions, I have the US and the UK version. And I thought Island Fever was significantly better.
Exactly.
It sounded Island Fever to me was a song that sounded like it picked up right where Kokomo left off. And it was carrying that same adult contemporary feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else do you like about? Because I can talk to you about now. The one song on Summer in Paradise that I don't care for is "Summer of Love."
Well, it's not too bad, I think.
It's not horrible, but But
I would say I always like when Mike sings with this deep baritone voice, and I think there's a bit of that on some Summer of Love. Also,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike is in very good vocal form on that album throughout.
Yeah.
And I love Strange Things Happen.
Yeah.
And Carl on Lahaina Aloha is just forget about it. I mean that's when I listen to that these days, and I know there was no connection, but he sings I wanna, but I can't stay.
Exactly.
And Mike singing Bye Bye. And it's we're just hearing Carl sing those lyrics. It's almost that's actually a picture of Carl right up there from his last concert in '97. It's where he's wearing a wig, but it's the last time I saw him in concert. That's why I got it framed.
Is he standing?
He's playing the guitar. Yeah. I'll show it to you. Just hearing Carl sing I wanna, but I can't stay. After he died. Just really kind of so just hearing Carl sing that lyric is just very I get a little emotional from just now thinking about it. It's just I really do. I think it's very easy for me to think about Carl every day.
Yeah, he was a great musician, great singer, and great man. Right. Yeah.
Yes. Just an incredible person.
Speaking about Summer in Paradise, do you have the vinyl version?
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Oh, lucky you.
It's so there it is. This is the
But is it it's a South Korean pressing, I guess, and is it an official promo, so to speak?
Let me see.
promo record?
It is Korean. Let me
Yeah.
just take a look here. No, it does not appear to be promo. I'll show you the. So there's the A side.
No, it doesn't say promo.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a. Oh, and it came with this. Wow. So this is in Korean, so I couldn't tell you possibly what it says, but here's the poster that it came
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
Well, it's just I think it's the same size poster that came with the CD, the Eco Pack
Yeah.
CD.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the same poster. But yeah, it's all in Korean. I have no idea what it says, but it probably says the same thing that the liner notes of the CD say, where Mike talks about walking on the beach and working with Terry Melcher.
Yeah.
I would imagine that's what it says. But so yeah, it's yeah, I got it for a pretty good price too. So I just happened to know a guy who was getting rid of his collection, and what did I pay? It wasn't more than $300.
I last year at a record fair in the Netherlands, there was actually a Korean dealer present, and he asked for the equivalent, I would say, of $600.
Oh my gosh!
But if I look on Discogs, dealers are asking for a lot more than that.
Man, so what's of your collect? So you're a collector. So what is your favorite piece in your collection?
It's probably well, it's not a collection like your collection, but I'll tell you anyway. I think the most rare item is probably a test pressing of the charity single from 2012, "Don't Fight the Sea." Or yeah.
Was it a Japan release?
No, this is an American release.
Okay.
Yeah, you are right about Japan. It was in support of the Japan. The
tsunami, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that's right.
But I bought the record via this fantastic record shop in LA, Rockaway Records.
Oh, sure. Yeah, Wayne Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great place to shop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I think Beach Boys wise, that much it's not the most valuable item, but I guess it's the most rare item. And yeah.
So do you have is it the white vinyl or the black vinyl?
Both.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I've got both.
Yeah, and on top of that, the test pressing. Actually, also, what's that called in English? If the pressing is neither black nor white. It's a mix because of a fault made in the production. So that was also in that package. And such an item was also included in the package that I bought from Rockaway Records.
Uh-oh. I think we have a visitor. Hold on. Uh-oh.
Hello.
Whoa.
Oh, there you are.
John, how are you?
How's it going?
Good. Good. So I will probably mess up his name. He's in Denmark.
Okay.
Is it Jens-Martin? Is that how you say your name?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Jon Bolton, the Beach Boys band drummer.
Hey, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah.
Hope to see you live in Europe with the band at some stage.
I would love that. I'm a big record collector, so I want to get over there and get some records, you know.
We were just comparing collecting notes.
What's that? Oh yeah, for sure.
I'll have to show you. This is a hard sought after collectible, John. I don't know if you know that, but the Summer in Paradise album on vinyl.
On vinyl, look at that. Yeah.
So yeah, Yeah, we were just comparing our collections to one another.
I was just listening to a Danish group from the 60s, the Savage Rose.
Ah, yeah.
I have all their records.
You do?
All
They
their,
are they are still doing concerts actually.
yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
What's the name of the group? Savage Rose?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Savage Rose. They were from Copenhagen. They first album was 1968. I was listening to that one, but I've got all the early ones.
Wow.
How did you learn about Savage Rose?
I've just been collecting records since I was a kid, and I got into Swedish music and Dutch music and all this other stuff. So I figured there's got to be more. So I just kept looking around.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've got an insane collection. It's all mostly 50s and 60s is my favorite.
Yeah.
Favorite era. Yeah.
Well, it sounds. I'm gonna have to get into Savage. Are they easy enough to get on like Amazon and stuff like that? Their albums?
It's really tough to find. I actually just bought all the collected all the vinyl. I got all the 45s of the albums. I haven't found much of it on Apple Music or anything. They don't have any of the early stuff, but that's the stuff you probably want to hear.
Yeah, for sure. So what would you compare them to? I'd never heard them. What are they like?
Oh, it's hard to describe. The early stuff, it might be slightly psychedelic. There's a folk element to it. They were named after a Bob Dylan lyric. And then they went into like they did an opera thing, and then they went into kind of gospel stuff in the 70s.
Okay.
But they were offered a chance to play in America for the troops in Vietnam or whatever, and they turned it down. And that kind of curtailed their career. So they ended up just being socialists and staying over there.
Huh.
From what I can read, from what I found.
Their favorite country that they looked up to in the 70s was Albania, which was a dictatorship like none other.
Yeah, I shouldn't be telling them. You should be telling them about this stuff. Yeah, that's amazing.
No, I like to hear that. It's very interesting.
So yeah, I take my vinyl, I record it onto CDs and stick it into my laptop so I can listen to my vinyl as I'm traveling. You know?
Yeah.
Well, who are you listening to now, John? I mean, I've seen you some posts of yours where you mention groups that I'm like not, and I kind of pride myself a little bit on knowing 60s music. Yeah. And you come up with, and I'm like, who are they?
Yeah. I love, oh man, there's so many. I love a lot of the Swedish bands, like I said, Tagus, the Hepstars, the Shanes, the Hounds, Ola and the Janglers, everyone. These are all great bands that made great music in the 60s. A lot of Dutch bands were great too. You probably heard of the Golden Earrings. I guess they became Golden Earring, but they were the Golden Earrings. The Motions. Oh my God, it's just endless amounts. And one of my favorite groups that you probably heard of is the Hollies. I love the Hollies.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
They're one of my favorite groups. I love everything they did, especially with Graham Nash in the 60s.
Oh, I love that era. I got their box, the box set that came out, gosh, over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Such an interesting and diverse stuff, and especially the way that they changed their sound once Graham had left. It's such a unique.
The harmonies got smoother, I think, with Terry Sylvester, but they still, because Alan Clark was there, it still had that unique blend. What a great singer he is. Man.
Do you buy records directly from Danish or Swedish dealers?
Yeah. I have some pen pals. Like I'll write, I'll send emails and stuff, and I got people looking for, stuff for me.
Okay, but otherwise, I know a few good dealers, or you can find them on the internet, of course. But I could provide you with some good dealers if you were interested.
I'm very interested. Thank you. Yes, please.
See, John, little did you know that this is the big payoff here is the fact that he's going to hip you to some collectibles. That's cool. We were just talking before you came on. We were talking about Rockaway Records, Wayne Johnson's place out in LA, because Jens he had visited the United States, and he had gone over there and bought some stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But nowadays they do not have a record store as such. Is that correct?
No, I think if you go, well, it's been a while since I've been out to LA. I'm not sure. I know the building is still there. I think they're still open you know, they got the website to order from, but I'm pretty sure they're still open.
Yeah, I think maybe it's only on request, but I'm not traveling to LA tomorrow anyway. So
There you go. Oh my goodness. So I'm looking at Jens-Martin's answers to some of these questions that I sent out that I think I shared with you, John.
Mhm.
And Jens-Martin, one of the things that I loved that you wrote was that you appreciate, I guess, favorite member. And you said Brian, the musical genius, but you also said Mike for being a perfect frontman and ambassador for the group and for keeping their fantastic music alive on the road. And I agree wholeheartedly. I was wondering if you might have some questions for John, since he's now part of that touring unit, and you know, other than hoping that he'll come to your neck of the woods, if you had any questions for him that you might like to ask.
yeah, but how? Maybe I could ask you for a start. How did you get into the touring group? Did you know Mike or Bruce beforehand, or?
This is crazy. It's a crazy story. I'll try to make it real fast.
Yeah.
But I play in a trio back in Seattle, and I'm a lead singing drummer. I've been singing lead for 20 years now. And I met my wife a few years ago, and she couldn't believe that I didn't have any online presence. That I had no videos of me. I never promoted myself. I would just do corporate parties and then play local stuff. And so she filmed me a few times and put it out there on Instagram. One video of me singing James Brown, and it went viral, I guess. Like, it started getting like thousands of views, and it ended up on John Stamos's Instagram feed.
Okay.
And so, so I got an Instagram message from John Stamos, and he said, "Hey, you know, what are you doing this summer? I love your playing." And you know, and I'm going, "Is this real?" You know, and he didn't mention the Beach Boys at all. He didn't mention anything that he had in mind. So I mentioned the Beach Boys when I wrote him back, because I said, "It's great to hear from you. I'm actually a big Beach Boys fan." So then he writes me right back, "Oh, can I FaceTime you right now?" You know, and so in a matter of minutes, he's on my phone and saying, "Hey, the Beach Boys are looking for a new drummer,
Yeah.
and I think you're the guy." So it's just like I'm going, "What?" You know. He goes, "Yeah," and then he put Jackie Love on my phone,
Yeah.
Mike's wife, and
Yeah.
she's going, "Yeah, Mike just loves your videos, and he's been watching." I'm going, "What?" You know, my head's exploding. And they said, "Yeah, so can you make an audition tape of like 5 songs or whatever? Sing whatever harmony." They sent me some backing tracks, just like 5 songs, and said, "Play along with these and just pick a harmony, like sing a harmony that you would sing. And then can you sing Darlin' for, you know, the song Darlin'?" And I said, "Sure." So then they got back to me and they said, "Yeah." And John Stan was like, "Yeah, I think you're in. You got 2 weeks. Can you learn 45 songs in
That's all.
Oh, it's just crazy. I still, when I think about it, I just can't. In 5 minutes, my whole life changed, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, and my goodness, so I had 2 weeks and I wasn't sure what to do. So I just watched every video I could find on YouTube of the current, like the current band, to hear the arrangements and stuff. You know, I was playing along, you know, with headphones, and I talked to a couple of the guys on the phone, and they were kind of like, you know, "Who are you? Like, we don't know, you know, are you a good guy? Can you sing? I mean, are you crazy?" You know?
Yes, yes, and yes, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's just nuts. My drumming, I always got compared to Keith Moon a lot,
Yeah.
when I played. And the cool thing was Keith Moon is such a Beach Boys fan. So
Yeah.
there's that link there. And my mom's very first concert when she was 15, I think, was the Beach Boys. And her second concert was James Brown. So it kind of all, you know, and yeah, and so I learned the songs, and it was so funny. I had to fly to Houston to do these rehearsals, and I was so, you know, completely overwhelmed, and you know, whatever, I forgot what I was going there to do. And I show up at the airport, and I look over, and I go, "Boy, that guy looks like Mike Love." You know? I'm like, "Oh wait." So the whole thing is just the most surreal, doesn't even begin to describe how it just like that, you know. And they took a chance on me, and Stamos really was like, just he really pushed for me. And I don't know, he saw something in the videos or whatever, and he flew out to Houston to kind of guide me through. He's just been wonderful. and everybody in the band has been wonderful. In fact, one of my favorite things about it, besides the fact that the money goes to all the original members and stuff, which is really important. But Mike, like he plans the set lists out lyrically, which I never knew. Like because he changes the set list every night, just and he'll say like, okay, well, in this song they're falling in love, and then in the next song there's like redemption, and he looks at it like almost like a story. And I thought that was kind of interesting to find that out.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now, John, how many? I know I saw you on May 22nd. When was your actual first date that you played?
Oh my goodness, I have to look it up on the app. I can't remember because I went down there for a week's worth of rehearsal. There were 4 days of rehearsals in Houston, and then at the end of that week, we did a show, which was a private show. That was my first show.
Okay.
And I'd never played with a click track before, and I never played with the inner ear monitors before. And so we go to do the show, and I can't hear a thing because everyone's turned everything up. So, and I'm telling our monitor guy, turn up the click track. Well, he turns everything up, so it was very, very surreal. But just how wonderful to be able to play these songs.
Yeah.
My goodness, I love it. I go back to the old videos, like the Tammy Show, that stuff.
Oh, isn't that great?
Dennis is just, I like the rock and roll aspect of that, like kind of like a rock and roll band. When Carl was doing the Chuck Berry, I love that.
The Tammy Show is just incredible. Anyone that loves 60s music, I tell them, you got to find the Tammy Show, get the Tammy Show, watch the Tammy Show. Yeah. I mean, where else are you going to find the Rolling Stones, James Brown, the Beach Boys, Jan and Dean, Chuck Berry? What else was in it? I mean, did you even know that
the Pacemakers, Billy J. Kramer, the Supremes,
the Barbarians, who nobody knows?
Yeah, the Barbarians, that's right.
Barbarians were the local group. But and I don't know if you know this, or Jens-Martin. Here's a trivia question for you. Actress Terry Garr was just starting out, and she's one of the dancers in the back.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
You watch it, and you can pick her out because the blonde hair.
Right.
You can pick her out. Yeah, she's back there dancing.
Isn't she in a Monkees movie? Am I mistaken? I thought she was in that Head movie, but maybe I'm wrong.
You're thinking of Annette Funicello.
No, she's in there too, but I think Terry Garr might be in there.
You're right. I think you're right. I've seen Head. I'd have to. It's been so long since I've watched Head. That's another one, Jens-Martin. If you have not seen the Monkees movie Head,
I haven't.
You may need to watch it like 10 times just to kind of figure out what's going on exactly.
Yeah.
But it's from 1968, and it was actually co-written by Jack Nicholson. So it's kind of far out, and it's kind of psychedelic, but at the same time, it's still very Monkees. So it's a weird crossover movie. But it was after their series was canceled. It was the first thing they did together after their series was canceled.
I love it.
I do too. It's I think it was Peter Tork who said, like, years afterwards, they said he told some interviewer, I still don't know what it's about. It's a very peculiar. But you're right, John. I'm pretty sure that you're right. That Terry Garr is, and I can't remember what the scene is or whatever, but I'm pretty sure you're right that she is in it.
She's the one, I think, that she says something like "suck it before the venom reaches my heart" or something. Finger out. I think that's her. I mean, the whole thing. Mickey Dolenz blows up a Coca-Cola machine.
Yeah, that gives you an idea. Yeah, so Mickey Dolenz, that's right. And when they get sucked into the
the vacuum.
What is it? The vacuum cleaner. They get sucked into a vacuum cleaner. The monkeys get sucked. Jens-Martin, just wait till you sit down and watch it. It's quite an adventure. I hope it's out. Maybe you can watch it on Amazon or something. But if you like the Monkees music, you'll like it. But it's different.
I want them to release all the Beach Boys footage from the '69 tour that they filmed, 68, 69.
Oh, that would be so great. Yeah,
got to put that out because they filmed everything, and that would be wonderful to see the whole thing like that.
It sure would be. Yeah, they show parts of it in the Endless Harmony documentary had a little bit of it, but it's so great because it just follows their whole tour. Yeah. So, Jens-Martin, this is actually the first time John and I are actually getting some time to talk to each other, although we've met before. So you
Okay.
hop in. We don't feel like you can't hop in because you're the VIP. So you
Yeah,
gotta,
Yeah, but
you gotta hop in.
I enjoy listening to you two guys.
I'm gonna
But
get to see John in
maybe
November. I'm gonna get to see
pardon?
John in November, so I don't want to take up your VIP time. You're gonna. What else? What else would you like to ask him?
Yeah, but maybe I could ask ask you what songs do you like playing the most during concerts? I mean,
I love playing all of them, but
yeah,
Little Honda is so much fun because that beat is just so cool. It's just driving.
yeah,
I love that. I love playing Little Honda. I love playing Catch a Wave.
yeah,
Just that, I love, cause it's very 60s,
yeah,
very 60s beat. I even play the offbeats, like the record when because the drummer who, I don't know if it's Dennis on that. I think it is Dennis, but he switches it up. I think because he doesn't know what he wants to do, and I do it exactly like that because I love it. The first time I did it, the bass player Keith was looking at me like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Listen to the record."
do you have to sing the ooh ah background vocals while playing the drums?
I do. I sing a lot of backing vocals. See, I'm used to being a lead singer, so it's okay.
Yeah,
And they've had me doing, let's see, Darlin', Wild Honey, and California Dreamin'. And
yeah,
Mike was talking about doing Heroes and Villains, maybe, and a couple other ones. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
yeah.
Hey, and I can tell you, John. One of the things that I noted about John, and I told him this backstage after the show when I saw him, I'm a first tenor in my church choir. So when John sang California Dreamin', and I had seen him do it, he's a first tenor. And the way that he was hitting Denny DeHorty's notes was just like, oh my God. I mean, I got goosebumps because it's like first tenor. It was so cool, And I mean, most of the Beach Boys are tenors with the exception of Mike, but it's just still being able to get up in that register and not just enjoy what's being performed in front of you, but also feeling what's being performed in front of you.
Oh, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. I do. Yeah.
So, John, is there a song from the Beach Boys catalog that's yet to be a part of the set list, that's in that canon that you'd love for them to bring out, that you're hoping patiently that maybe they will one day?
There's so many. There's so many. Oh my gosh. Whether or not the audience would like it, I don't know. I mean, I love Wonderful. I love that song.
Oh yeah.
Such a beautiful song. People probably be, what is this? But I mean, I love that song. I would love to do Marcella. I think that'd be cool. It's kind of rocking,
Yeah.
I actually mentioned that I told Mike, I said, we should do You Need a Mess of Help to Stand Alone. And he's just like, no, come on. No.
I will tell you both. In 1993, the Beach Boys did their box set tour where they did a lot of acoustic, and they started that tour in November of '93 in Charlotte. Their first date was in Charlotte. I saw that show, and Carl and I for the life of me I can't remember the song they performed before Wonderful, but Carl takes his guitar off when the song ends. He takes his guitar off and he goes over and sits behind keyboards and sings Wonderful. And I'll tell you, to this day,
man,
that is just like I couldn't believe I was watching it. And it's just such a marker moment in my life that I got to watch that happen. And it's just,
I can only imagine. I went and saw the Brian Wilson, Al Jardine band, I guess maybe the year before COVID, I guess it was, when they were doing the Friends stuff. And
oh yeah.
I mean, that's probably my favorite Beach Boys album because that was the first one I ever owned. It was my dad got it for me my dad was a school administrator, and I was in junior high school, and he says, yeah, the janitor at my school says that he's got a Beach Boys record that you might like, and I didn't have any Beach Boys, and I said, okay. And it turned out to be Friends, and I just played it endlessly. That album is still really special to me. And I keep saying, we got to do the song Friends and we could do all the harmonies and stuff. We'll see what happens.
That would be, well, my gosh, with Ike, I mean, Brian Eichenberger, I mean, that would be a really cool thing to execute, because if anybody could come up with the right arrangements for you guys, it would be him. He'd be able to pull
Oh,
that up.
he's amazing, man. He's amazing. I love taking direction from him, and I love listening to him every night. It's inspiring. Yeah, it's really just great. Yeah.
Feel free to ask another question. I'm just trying to be quiet because I could very easily talk to Jon.
I need to be quiet. I'm sorry.
No, I love it. I love it.
But maybe I could ask you, Jon, which song, or do you find any of the songs more, let's say, difficult or challenging to play than others? Which ones are the most difficult to play?
That's a good question too. You know, I don't know. As far as difficult to play, some of it is kind of like, I guess the toughest thing sometimes is trying to strike a balance between what the record does and what works good live, because I always want to go back to the record, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, Jeffrey Foskett,
Yips. Yeah.
what a sweetheart he is. Him and John Stamos were kind of coaching me before I met the guys, and John Stamos is going, you got to do it like, you know, you got to just rock it out and forget that. And Foskett's going, no, play it just like the record, you know, don't listen to this guy, you know, and they're giving each other a hard time. It's hilarious. So finding that balance sometimes maybe a little bit like, and there was a few things I did during the rehearsals that were exactly like the record. And everyone looked at me like, what are you doing? You know, like, you know, don't do it like that, you know? And so like, Do You Want to Dance is one of them where I want to play it just like the recording, but I've had to add things because they want it to keep moving.
Yeah.
There's like silence in some of that parts, you know, there's no drums. But yeah, I don't know about difficult. I'm just so happy to be playing that it's just all fun. You know, I just want that joy to just emanate, because that music is all about joy, you know.
Yeah, it is. Great.
It really is. And I'm hoping that they come your way, Jens-Martin, because Mike called me. I guess it's been 2 weeks now, but he just called. He was just in this wonderful mood. So he called and he was telling me about how he goes in the back and he pours the water. Is that for the encore that he does it?
Yeah, yeah.
So he goes back and he takes a bottle of water and he pours it all over the drum kit and the cymbals so that Jon can go, you know, nuts, just bang the water all over the place.
Yeah. He did that unexpectedly. We were just playing the fun at the end of the night, you know, big drum solo at the end of the night. And then he comes running back and pours. I'm like, yeah, because this is what I used to do back home. You know, I'd pour water over everything, you know, but I don't know where he came up with it. But of course, you know, they're going, it's ruining the drums. He's like, I don't care. So, like, you know, that's kind of the one thing I like about Mike is that there's a bit of like rebel in him. He's kind of a rebel, you know. He's just like, don't tell him what to do, you know, because he'll do what he wants. And so yeah, now the water's become a thing.
But the Beach Boys, they often tour the UK, so I guess I can travel there, hopefully, and see you in concert.
There's some dates for next year that are booked for the UK, I know, and they're kind of showing up periodically, but I'm positive that's the plan.
Yeah.
So
in Royal Albert Hall, maybe in London.
Yeah.
Yes. Good.
Maybe if he's got a day off, you can take him record shopping.
Oh my goodness, I'll be in heaven. Yeah.
That would be something. Okay. Well, I can't think of anything else right now. I mean, is there anything else you want to ask Jon before he's got to go? He's actually enjoying a day off right now.
Okay, no, but I'm sure that when this Zoom call has ended, I will get a lot of ideas. Oh, I should have asked this or that.
Oh, I should have. Yeah.
Well, feel free to email me or whatever. Like, you know, I think you've got my email address, right?
Well, I can get that to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
yes,
I'd love to keep talking. You know,
yeah.
It's me and the other new guy in the band, John Wiedemeyer. We're the two geeks. Like, we're the two guys that, like, you know, huge, massive fans. So I'm so glad that we joined the band together, because we get to talk about all this stuff, you know, our favorite albums and all this, and you know, because we're so into it, you know.
Yeah,
it's fun to talk about it.
Yeah, I agree. Certainly.
John, so you said you love Friends, but if you had to choose another Beach Boys album that's kind of a go-to that you go back to a lot, that you enjoy, not necessarily a favorite, but just something you go back to and you really enjoy it from start to finish.
Oh man, there's something about summer days and summer nights. Always like, just because it's like, I mean, it's almost like listening to a candy cane. It's just like, it's just like, it sounds like, it sounds like the most joyful summertime. It's happy. But there's also that melancholy there with Let 'Em Run Wild, and it's just a great balance. I don't know if that's the best album, but I do go back to that one a lot. It always makes me happy. I love that, the vibe of that album. I love the Today album too. Everyone loves that one. That one's
Yeah,
amazing.
that's a great one.
But even the early stuff too. I love the early stuff. So
What would what have you enjoyed about you've talked about Mike a little bit. What have you enjoyed about your, being on stage with both Mike and Bruce, and that general experience of because they both are alpha male characters all by themselves.
yeah, they are. Yeah. When you talk about being on stage with Mike and Bruce, it's like I still don't really believe it. I kind of just go, what? If I see footage of it, I think somebody like superimposed footage of me and like, how did this happen? But it's just, I can't tell you like how great, like Bruce has lots of stories, like he's got lots of stories, and I never get tired of hearing that stuff. He'll talk about the recording of Pet Sounds or whatever, and I'm just like, what? And just looking up there and seeing these guys in their 80s, still just loving it. It's just it's so, I guess, inspiring is the best way to put it. It's inspiring. Like I want to be 82 and still playing. It's just so cool. Yeah. And, sorry, one last thing. We did Their Hearts Were Full of Spring. We rehearsed it, just me and Ike and Bruce and Mike, and that was probably the moment, like for me, just being a part of that blend. And I took Carl's part, and I can't put that into words. That's something, that's something.
Is that something you just rehearse for fun of it, or do you actually come out in the front of the stage and do that with them now?
We haven't performed it yet, but Ike told me a couple months ago. He said, "Hey, just so you know, we might add." Mike's talking about doing Their Hearts Were Full of Spring again. So I'm like, oh, so so he goes, "Okay, we'll learn Carl's part."
Wow, I hope you guys do that.
Yeah, we got through it.
I hope you do it in November. I'll poke at Ike.
Yeah.
Get it ready.
Yeah. That was something, because Ike knows all the Four Freshmen stuff. So
yeah. It was with them for 18 years, I think.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, great. Well, John, bless you. Thank you for coming.
Sorry I talk so much. I get excited,
Oh no. We love it. We love it. We could talk to you for hours.
Thank you very much, John.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to meet you, man. And anytime you want to write, let me know. Like, I'd love to talk about any of this stuff, So,
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, John. Thank you very much. I'll be in touch.
Okay, man.
All right. Bye. Well, how was that?
that was much more than great. To bring the drummer of the Beach Boys into this meeting. I haven't even, I couldn't imagine that at all before the meeting. That's for sure.
Well, I'm glad I was able to do it. That's again, when we started this VIP membership thing, I just wanted to, I put a lot of thought into it. It's something that we've been thinking about for several years. And when I finally thought, okay, they get the magazine, then they get the extra full color thing, but and they get the Zoom with me, but I didn't announce that there'd be extra special guests. That idea kind of came once we started it, and I thought, I think I can probably fill up the roster. I think I can get special guests on here, so far so good, and John's terrific. I'll tell you, he did mention the comparison that he gets to Keith Moon.
Yeah.
But I've seen him, and if you go to YouTube, you can see him play too. It's a cross between Keith Moon, he reminds me of Ringo too, because the drum set is really low.
Yeah.
So we kind of how Ringo was over the,
Yeah.
the drum set, and then the way he pulls off the beat when he drums is a
Mhm.
little bit like Ringo, and he reminds me of Dennis because maybe that's because he's playing Beach Boys music. I'm not sure, but he has that energy that Dennis
Yeah.
had, and then he reminds me a little bit of Animal from the Muppets. Just kind of, just kind of a little bit of crazy thrown in there. But he's such a wonderful energy, and I've gotten to see him once, like I said, in May, and he had not been with them very long, Mike and Bruce, very long, but it was just so much fun. He's got so much positive energy, and if you go to YouTube and watch any of, if you just type in the Beach Boys, you'll get to see some footage of him. And even Mike pouring water on the cymbals is up there. So it's just they're having fun, which they've always done, and they've always done that for audiences around the world who come to see them. But John, as I'm sure you just kind of picked up from his energy, just bring so much kind of boyish enthusiasm,
Yeah.
to the whole performance. I love it because I think you and I are kind of similar, just from what I've gotten from you so far, is that we both, we may be older, but we still have that enthusiasm, that young enthusiasm in our hearts for that music.
Exactly. I still I love the Beach Boys music, and I love the concerts. They are playing so well, really well. And good to hear that they may visit at least the UK next year. He didn't promise, but it looked as though they will.
Yeah, so I would suggest that you would go to mikelove.com.
Yeah.
That would be one place to go if you don't see dates. And so either between there and thebeachboys.com, because both of those sites show Mike's dates. And so yeah, if he's aware of some UK dates coming up next year, then that'd be great. And it would be cool. I mean, I've never heard anyone describe summer days and summer nights as like listening to a candy cane. That's
neither have I.
Very interesting. But I understand what he's saying. It's just like, it's so, it takes you back to a time. It takes you back to not necessarily just 1965, but it takes you back to a period in time of music that was kind of innocent still. And, and actually I had the pleasure, that's right, right there, I did the Beach Boys 2015 tour program for the Summer Days, 50 Years of Summer Days concert program. That's before John joined, though.
And you know what?
I'll have to take one to him and show it to him. I'm sure he'll dig it. But thank you. I have another Zoom coming up here in just a little bit. I've really enjoyed getting to meet you. I hope we'll be able to do another one another Zoom down the road, and get your collection. The next one we do, you have to get more of your collectibles ready so we can kind of do a show and tell and show each other the stuff we have, and because I'd really enjoy seeing your collectibles.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it. Enjoyed it.
I did too. Likewise. It's great to meet you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.